actually acting rationally. Venezuela is celebrating the overthrow of the dictator. Iran is throwing off the Islamist state with active revolution. So somehow there are things going well. And I want to talk about Iran for a second. Um, when I was in the ministry world, my ministry partnered with a ministry called Elam Ministries, ELAM, which is the biblical name for Iran, in spreading the gospel inside Iran. And Iran has been in a Islamic dictatorship since 1979, right? When the Ayatollah came out of, we actually helped him come out of exile in Paris and take over in Iran. But since then, they've been in this dark state. So before that, the Shah of Iran, it was kind of a sort of a democratic republic with the Shah on top. But they had open society, Western culture. Iranian kids came to the United States and Britain to be educated in France. So there was a Western leaning culture, and the Ayatollah shut all that down and closed off society to the world. Right, women had to go to burqas and persecution of minorities and everything like that. So since 1979, you've had what, 2 or 3 generations of Iranians born and raised up within this society, and they don't like it, and they haven't liked it, but they've been so oppressed militarily and politically that they haven't been able to do much about it every time they raise their heads. But fewer than 30% of Iranians actually are Islamic anymore. They mostly believe in nothing. But the amazing thing is that, in fact, after the Ayatollah took over in '79, and most Iranians fled basically to Los Angeles. If you go to Los Angeles, really good Persian food there. Um, they think there were about 500 Christians in Iran left, besides the established churches, the Assyrian and the Armenian churches there. So 500 Christians. Well, today, there's at least 650,000 and perhaps a million Christians worshiping in house churches underground, avoiding persecution in Iran. So as the revolution now is overthrowing the regime, the Islamist state, now the question is God's hand all over this? And you have to say yes, that it's the fruit of the church and of people seeking the truth. And by finding the truth of Jesus Christ, it exposes the lies, not just of Islam, but of the political state in Iran. So the good news to me is that while we know that the world is headed toward tribulation, that right now God is raising up a remnant in places you wouldn't have expected. You might expect it in Texas, where it's probably not happening. We would not expect it in Iran, where it is happening. So I think there's really good news that in God's plan, in this covenant of redemption, where we see bad news and good news, that there's always a remnant, and God's plan is unfolding before our eyes. I think Iran is a good one to keep. What else do we know Iran for? Being the absolute sponsor of terror against Israel. So much just lines up against God's plan through Iran, and now it's collapsing. So God's plan, you're gonna crush my people, you're gonna curse my people. Well, what did he promise Abraham? I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. Well, here comes the curse on Iran. They've already got smoked by the United States, and now they're collapsing internally. That's clearly the hand of God on them. So God's sovereignty over these situations is stronger than anything we would lean on in terms of politics or anything like that. So I just want you to focus on the good news that God's victory, we really can see it in places. You just have to look for it. So welcome.